it is bigger than what people are understanding.
So you go on the internet and you start reading about liver cancer. I've been reading reports on the National Institutes of Health about glioblastoma and liver cancer that you get from vinyl chloride and also dioxin from the burning of chemicals like this.
Good morning, good morning. Here comes the sun. And we are going to talk about some very serious stuff, y'all, because they are lying to your face in Ohio over there, all right? I'm going to try to blast this video off real quick so we can put the warnings out. Now, if you guys aren't following the situation in Ohio, they had a train derailment full of chemicals that make plastics and all this stuff. One, if this environmental thing was such a big deal like they keep claiming, right? You got to get rid of all this gas and petro and all this stuff, right? We have to go electric, man. We have to save the environment, man. Well, now you know it's baloney, because if they wanted to save the environment, they wouldn't have let Norfolk Southern blow that dioxin up into the air. First off, they would have found a different way to handle that. That was a call made by the train company, from what I'm understanding. And, you know, they'd be there right now working their butts off, cleaning it up. We're like 2 weeks later, and they're just now saying, wow, well, I guess we'll go over there then. You guys are making enough noise about it. Gee whiz. It's the great setup, y'all. The great setup. Okay, so there's a lot of chemicals on there. Dioxin is one of them. It's, you know, used in all this stuff. There was like 6 train cars so far they're finding out that had chemicals on it, or 2 or 3 or 4. Don't get caught up in the minutia. The bottom line is that a train carrying hazardous chemicals derailed, suspiciously, I guess you could say, in Palestine, Ohio, East Palestine, Ohio. Don't get caught up in the minutia, okay? And they let it sit there for a while. Then they burned it, a controlled burn. The decision was made by Norfolk Southern, was not made by the EPA or anybody who knows what's up. And I have clips here. I'll show you this clip right here. What the gentleman who works with hazmat materials says that you should have done with those cars, in one man's opinion. And they did the complete opposite.
I got involved in this because news media were not being told the truth. Days into this, no, train consist was available. They didn't know what they had. And, you know, that flies in the face of logic. If you're going to mitigate a problem, if you're going to have your fire department and other, responding teams take care of it, you should know what the heck you've got. And it got to the point where they were showing me pictures of train cars, the local media, and I was identifying what was in based on UNID numbers or train car numbers. And when they told me their plan, at that point you had a few cars burning. They had unmonitored hand lines there keeping the tankers cool. And then I find out that they're pulling the unmonitored hand lines, keeping the tankers cool. I said, well, that's just going to cause the tanker cars to heat up, which they did. And then they announced that one was very near catastrophic failure. And I said, well, if they don't put water back on it, it's going to continue to heat up, and it's going to what's called a levee, and it's going to damage other containers. And then I was told, no, they're going to detonate all these cars so that that doesn't happen. I could tell you, Mr. Carlson, I've been looking at rail incidents over and over, because in Youngstown, Ohio, there's 3 rail lines that run through our town. So as a chief and as a instructor, I trained my guys to anticipate stuff. And I would go case study after case study after case study, coming up with different scenarios just to keep it going. And I've never once in 39 years ever heard of them blowing up train cars, right, dumping all the chemicals into a trench and lighting them on fire. I was dumbfounded. Yeah. And, when you lit this stuff on fire, you were creating phosgenes, you were creating hydrogen chlorides, you created this plume, and up in this plume was all the incomplete combustion products of everything that was there. Stuff, if you looked at the guy's video, stuff is precipitating down into people's property. There's a lot of questions, and the answers came slow. And, first you get, well, now we've found vinyl chlorides in the water. Well, yeah, no joke, you're going to find that. And it seemed like everything was drips and dribbles. Instead of, one of the things I learned is you tell the truth, you tell it all, you tell it first, and you tell them how you're going to solve the problem. And none of that was forthcoming. And I began to worry about, what the end result with this was going to be. They had evacuated 1 mile, and I was telling the media they better do like 1.5, 2 miles. Well, subsequently after that, they went to 2 miles. And then within a few minutes, they were bringing, or a few days, they were bringing everybody back. And that was pretty much just in time to open up the rails. And there was no testing. There's got to be some plan going forward in this cleanup and recovery to test.
So now we see what he says about it. They would have been hosing off the cars and keeping the temperature down. The temperature doesn't just keep rising and rising and rising. And I've seen a lot of that before. They have foam that they put on it, and they also have water, and they put a lot of water on there to keep the temperatures down. And eventually, you know, they can get to a point where it arches, and then the temperatures start to settle off, and then they can, you know, manage it. Now, according to the National Cancer Institute, vinyl chloride is associated with lymphoma, leukemia, and cancers of the brain and lungs. One study found that workers exposed to PVC dust had significantly higher risks of cancer. Okay? The governor of Ohio is telling y'all to go to your houses and drink the water. It's asinine what he is telling you all, dude. Run that governor of Ohio out, all right? Find a man with a spine. He is leading you to death over in Ohio. I know this sounds crazy, man, but this is the truth. All right, now, let me just explain to you guys. I live in Missouri, okay? And in Missouri, this same thing happened a long time ago in a place called Times Beach, okay? I got the news story right here. See, Times Beach, I put it on the thumbnail. Times Beach, Missouri was originally a weekend getaway town until April 2nd, 1985, when it ceased to be a town at all. That was when the town's former residents voted it out of corporate existence. Only one elderly couple still lives there at the time, according to the report published by the New York Times. 3 years previously, the town had been home to more than 2,200 residents, all who were suddenly evacuated when it was revealed that their dirt roads had all been sprayed down. Now think about it, it's just sprayed down, you know, a mist of spray over the roads. Sprayed down with a mixture containing dioxin, a toxin present in Agent Orange. Let that sink in for a second. In Agent Orange, okay? Now they cleared out this whole town. The mayor of the town put up a sign. That sign right there, it says, do not even go in here. Do not come back here. This place is toxic, okay? They actually had to come in and remove the dirt. They removed the dirt, closed the whole town. It was over a $100 million project. And that town is still dead to this day. I live in Missouri. Marilyn Listener, the last mayor of Times Beach, said the message people received was, if you live in the community, you need to get out. And if you're outside the community, don't go back. And don't take anything with you, because everything is contaminated. Man, you guys, this is going to be bad news. Because of massive flood that showed up long after the government agents, many people were already staying elsewhere. Some didn't go back, while others returned only to leave again. The controversy of what to do pitted townsfolk against one another. The first time I went on the site, I went by myself, and it was heart-wrenching. Gary Pendergrass, who was in charge of the cleaning up the town, told Hamilton, walking around the streets and walking into the houses, many of them were like people had just simply stood up, walked out, and never came back, he said. Plates on tables, Christmas trees, Christmas decorations outside, and just street after street of that. The massive cleanup operation he directed demolished those houses and buried them, and removed dioxin from 265,000 tons of soil. The whole project cost more than $100 million. The answer to the question of how dioxide came to cover the town in the first place lies in its sleepy roots. Lots in the town were originally given away as part of a public stunt by the St. Louis Times and marketed as a weekend getaway, resulting in year-round population. You know, it wasn't huge. By 1972, the town still didn't have the funds to properly pave their dusty dirt roads, which is a common practice out here on these gravel roads. They actually put down like a chemical mix of, I think they use beet juice and some other stuff now around here. But you know, guys would grab oil and some other stuff, and they would spray that out on the roads to keep the dust down. Okay, so in this place called Times Beach, I'm going to close this up now. In this place called Times Beach, the fellow grabbed some of the chemicals that were, you know, kind of disposed of in some containers in the back there, and they were full of dioxin. And he put that stuff out on the roads, and everyone started getting sick, y'all. If you live in Palestine, Ohio, if you live in East Palestine, Ohio, I implore you to please leave. I just smacked some dust in my eye. Just leave, please. Try to find some place to go. Try to find family members, right? Your life depends on it. Don't breathe that air there, y'all. I mean, we try to tell you guys about eugenics and about how the government views you, right? And now I'm trying to teach you guys about reverse discrimination, right? How they are gonna hate white people and try to give you some of that same treatment, you know? That's why they've been ginning up all this racial stuff. I don't know if you guys get it or not. I hope so. Seriously, your life could really depend on it. You know, again, you guys please follow these news stories. We have Brockovich, Aaron Brockovich is going there right now. You know, she's an air quality, water quality person. Just a citizen journalist, you know, somebody who has seen some injustices like this and stood up for some people. Another woman, where's the dudes, right? That's what I was talking about, right? President Trump apparently is going there Friday. But the bottom line is nobody should be there. That whole town should have been abandoned and evacuated, okay? And they should be working right now on stripping the soil, those top layers off. Every day they wait to address and clean that issue, and just burning it off is not addressing it or cleaning it. Every day they wait, it gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. The water is going to seep into that well water. All that contaminated dioxin and all that stuff will seep into the groundwater, okay? That town is useless. If you live there, I mean, I feel so bad for you, but you really should be seriously thinking about long term, like, where are you going to live? Because I don't think it's going to be there, you know? That's just one man's opinion. All I have on my side is history, right? And the ability to look up information. And I also have some common sense, right? You can't have a explosion and have mushroom clouds of chemicals go up into the sky. I mean, to tell those people, everyone in that area there, that the air is okay. I mean, I am dumbfounded by this, y'all. Seriously, I am dumbfounded by this. The news media stuff is not really picking up on it. They're not trying to put it front and center on you guys. They're keeping it hidden in the news cycles. This is so bad. I mean, this is so bad. And if this is how they're hiding this one, I mean, really, what's going to happen? Like, when stuff really starts happening bad, y'all, I hope, honestly, I hope I'm just the crazy nut job conspiracy guy. I hope so. Honestly, I hope you guys come back here next year and say, man, you got all that wrong. And I'll be like, man, I will make videos and tell people I got it wrong, and I will not be talking about it and nothing else no more. I promise you, I am that kind of fellow, right? If I put up some kind of information and I found out it was bogus, right, or I lied about somebody, I would take that video down and apologize, because that's just the kind of fella I am. So hey, if all this turns out to be just all baloney, and you know, everybody's just fine, and everyone's gonna live in East Palestine, and no one's getting sick and dying, and these rashes and their eyes feeling like they're popping out of their head are all just precursors for all the sickness they're gonna start gathering, then my bad. I will make videos and tell you that I'm wrong. But I am fully confident in my deductive reasoning abilities and my abilities to see what's going on with common sense eyeballs, right? All right, I got to get these chickens out here. I'm gonna keep bringing you guys this information. Look it up, Times Beach in Missouri. Okay, this stuff has happened before. Nothing new is under the sun. A lot of times you got to think that, you know, they know about how this is going to go, so that's why they do it. It's going to cause just enough damage, right? I don't know. Some people are saying that there's some cobalt mines and stuff around there. Like, they found some mines under the ground and they're trying to clear the whole town out so they can get in there and start drilling for this green energy nonsense. That's one angle. I've heard another angle that they're, you know, going and attacking the Amish because that's a large Amish communities over there. That's another angle. The bottom line is, the bottom line is there's a change happening in America right now. Psychologically, physically, behind the scenes, our structures, everything is on the change right now. So I hope you guys are staying vigilant. Okay, let me know down in the comment section if you heard about Times Beach before, right? And let me know if you're going to go look up the story and try to find out some more information. All I'm trying to do is brush your nose up against it to get your sniffers going, so you can see how this is going. And if you know anybody that lives over there in East Palestine, please send them that link and tell them to get out of there. Every day it's going to get worse and worse. All right, we'll see you guys on the next video.